Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is Jonas Reports for the 4th. Well, the continuation here, back and forth. We're starting to see some more international issues as the, attempted peace talks with Ukraine. But it was interesting. The EU has added in that toll. They're not concerned about Russia's ability to have their economy continue forward. And then we saw more attacks on oil tankers, commercial shipping off the coast of Africa, as well as what we saw already in the Black Sea and that. So, are they going to allow sabotage of Russian oil tankers in that? And if that grows, that's going to be something that's impacting oil and everything else, and certainly would put things on an escalation scale that nobody wants to see. From a reading standpoint, you still have magenta writing over, so from that standpoint, it's clean, but you still see DOC spread here. We just moved orange into the gap between cyan and red, meaning that we're in a continuation, but that's a very soft move of the histogram here on the shakeout, and so you need to see that really pick up quite a bit here if this Santa rally is going to continue at all. There's certainly definitely a lot of headwinds as far as the recognition on valuations and what's going to happen within the locality of things, because these international impacts are what you would call your quasi black swan events, and it definitely can have a big impact very fast, particularly when we're looking at the Nasdaq here. The big divergence is still a negative from a shakeout. That's not very effective, and a slight decrease in that, and you're definitely going to break the 50% on that kind of move and drop further. So, you know, this is where that balance between shorts and longs really makes a difference. And of course, we'll see it intraday first, but once it gets going, it would be something that's rather quick. From a Treasury standpoint, yeah, the Fed is still. Have they moved yet towards recognizing the softness? Not so much. Oil still caught in the same zone. They're not really. You've got pretty decent production values going on. The question is, if you do see an added decrease in supply from the Russia side of thing, that would definitely put upside pressure on it. And, exactly the opposite direction. And again, you're not going to get real boon from an economic standpoint while this continues, and you see more and more articles now about this bifurcation on electricity costs, and that is really used to just be the oil standpoint, and it's no longer the case. And this whole idea that Europe is going to then confiscate Russian assets and use them to fund their own shortfalls in that by via weaponry. But we know that would get bled off, and there's a big battle going on between the ECB, the EU, and the leadership that wants to really push this continued conflict in Ukraine, because they see it as supportive of covering their shortfalls. So that's definitely been a bonus for Eurozone from that standpoint. Gold's going to continue to creep. It's just a question of narrative points, and that's going to continue to drive to new highs. There's no question about that. The ups and downs in between always going to happen. And, they've been basing here with the cryptos. It finally looks like that some of that wipeout mode has finally been absorbed, still with the shakeout where it is and stuff like that. You're not looking for anything too exciting from the crypto space at this particular stage. Even ETH, same situation. It's just a lot of uncertainty within that, and you can see now we're getting into this very narrow range where we've just contracted, and there's going to have to be an expansion out of that at this particular stage. We're at the upside of it. So theory is that you're going to break to the upside of that, given the holiday bias and everything. However, the readings have to continue to support it, and at this particular stage, and it's starting to look a little sketchy. Intraday, we saw the early morning drop off that was the pre-market, and then after that, it was just straight up roses. No problems with that, even in the Asian session. It was a bit back and forth, and then once we get to the European one is where we had a little bit more back and forth action, but still slightly to the upside. I would expect that we're going to be trading on both ends of green and red today. Not a surprise. It's just the reality of the mix of economic conditions at this particular stage, and there's no clear definitive lead out. Of course, the investment that all is being added into everything will have an impact, but It's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen at the beginning of next year. Plain and simple. As always, anything relevant, I'll put it on our team chat. Trade well.